That's loud. All right. So this is the Strongsville Police Department Detective Bureau. Zaki Hazou was the one that was investigating the Mackenzie Shirilla crash. And then let's see. So incident aggravated murder times two. And then this is the report number. And the date is July 31st, 2022. So we've got all of this here that anyway, if you've seen some of the videos, I have some of these people's names in there. But we had the Mackenzie Hospital visit, scene photography, Kelly Vraha statement. That was one of the young ladies. I think there was at Paul Burlinghouse's party. We got Tyler Croy's statement, Husni Ahmad, which is the one that supposedly he was swinging a bat towards Mackenzie. Steve intervened, was trying to basically like tell him, you won't survive the rest of your life, and blah, blah, blah. It's like the whole thing, trying to save his daughter, from this madman when that's not even what happened. Actually, her friend spit on Husni, but it's just a back and forth thing because I think this Husni was friends with Davion, so he was probably pretty still mad and upset about it. But anyway, Mackenzie's cell phone passcode, search warrant service, Metro Health, medical records, Mackenzie Hospital visit two, search warrant service, EDR, I don't know what that is. Oh, event data recorder, excuse me. Video of crash. Natalie Shirilla reports mean people on the internet calling her daughter a murderer. Metro Health police reports. Summary of Strongsville fire report from July 31st, 2022. Summary of medical report. Number one, this is July 31st till August 4th, 2022. Surveillance camera time sync, Metro Health ER blood discarded. Obtain blood vials from August 3rd and 4th. Interview, Kelly Braha. Interview of Scott and Jamie Flanagan. Interview with Paul Burlinghouse. Summary, Beria, I guess it's who responded. Fire report from July 31st, 2022. Search warrant service. Metro Health Blood Bank. Summary, Mackenzie school records. Statement of Brett Stanislaw. Berea Fire Department. Rose Graham's father cancels her interview. Natalie Shirley calls about mean people. So this is just some of it's repeating again. Maybe he's just going into further detail with these things. And then the phone interview is Tasneem Alfar. I don't know who that is. And then Mackenzie's application for driving license. Remember, Natalie Shirley said she had the POTS. And they even asked her that during the trial about, and so you still thought she was okay to get her driver's license. She said, no, you didn't have to report it, blah, blah, blah. So a phone interview, Mr. and Mrs. Flanagan interview with Thomas Blair Wallace, which is Bubba. I think that's who that is. No. Yeah, I think it is. Or Landon, excuse me. Landon is Bubba, excuse me. So Blair is the friend, I think, of, was it Dominic? I've heard so many names, I don't know. Search warrant service, Metro Health, medical records number two, search warrant service, Toyota forensic exam, Metro Toyota documents, lab results, psilocybin. What? Psilocybin. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Summary medical report number two, August 5th, 2022, until discharge. Then data from Davion Flanagan's phone. Toyota moved to SPD, the Strongsville Police. Forensic inspection reports, Toyota Camry, text messages between Christine and Mackenzie, the interview, Christine Russo, B&E church identified, and then Lorain County B&E report, search warrant service, Snapchat Davion, interview with Angelo Russo, data from Mackenzie Snapchat, search warrant, and then phone interview, Deanna Fosnight, photograph from the church, the B&E lab results, Mackenzie's blood, July 31st, 2022. Christine Russo signs consent to search Dominic's cell phone, data from Mackenzie's Pinterest search warrant, the Metro Health Police Sergeant story, and then DRE memorandum number one, statement, Metro Health Police Sergeant Doyle, DRE. I guess that's data. I don't know. I don't know what that DRE is. Never mind. Number two, and then GJ subpoena served David Tyler Proctor. Tyler Proctor, I think, was her ex-boyfriend. So he had a lot to say about her, and I have a video on that. Okay, here we go. Autopsy report, Russo and Flanagan. Interview Landon Bubba Turner. That's who that was. Blair's the other dude. This one's Bubba. Okay, and then EDR analysis, Sergeant Fox, the Ohio State Highway Patrol. Interview with Christopher Hinch Martin. He's the one that was supposed to have gotten Dominic out of the vehicle because Mackenzie threatened to crash the car or something. Anyway, email Jamie Flynn about Halloween. Arrest warrant issued. Mackenzie taken into custody. Post arrest follow up investigation. Subpoena reply AT&T. Search warrant reply Apple iCloud. Suspected offenses. This. Oh, okay. Subpoena Snapchat. Phone interview Kyle Smith. Interview with David Tyler Proctor. A search warrant service. Cash App. Results, TikTok search warrant, email Dr. Sahali, I guess, Sahali, a jail call, EDR, analysis by Southwest Crash Investigation Group. More of these offenses, the results, text between Mackenzie and the school therapist, text between Mackenzie and Dominic, RE highway incident. Again, back up to the Christopher Hinch. He was the one that went and picked Dominic up from like the side of the highway. Notable text messages between Mackenzie and Christine Russo, psychological assessment, Dominic Russo, medical records, certificate, BMV 2002 records and certificate. And then note, Detective Glover and Detective Vannick's supplemental reports are not included in this index, but are attached to the end of my report. So, Strongsville Police Department, Zaki Hazou, July 31st, 2022. So the summary on July 31st, 2022, at approximately 6:15 hours, so in the morning, Southwest Emergency Dispatch Center, SWED, DC, or SWED-C, or whatever, however you want to say it, received a 911 call from Tom Los, redacted, reporting a vehicle and run into the business at the intersection of Alameda Drive and Progress Drive. The caller did not stop and was no longer in the area upon officers' arrival. Strongsville police and fire personnel were dispatched to the area. PTL Galassi, number 7157, and his trainee, PTL, that's the one that was saying, oh my God, there's three, in the body cam footage. That's the one. Zelensky, number 7151, were the first units to arrive. PTL Galassi reported a vehicle split in half at 11792 Alameda Drive and requested EMS. And then the CAD number 220867779, since three occupants were reportedly unconscious. While attempting to gain entry into the vehicle, PTL Galassi noticed the unconscious driver, a female later identified as Mackenzie Shirilla, was breathing. Responding officers gained access into the Toyota Camry, which is bearing Ohio registration JIB 3692, via the driver's side door. Shirilla was sitting in the driver's seat with her seatbelt on and her head wedged in an area closest to the center console, thus trapping her. The Toyota was registered to Natalie Shirilla. Strongsville Fire Department personnel arrived shortly thereafter and mechanically extracted Mackenzie and her rear passenger, Davion Flanagan. The front passenger, Dominic Russo, was deceased and was not removed from the vehicle by the medics. It was initially reported by SFD that Flanagan had a weak pulse upon extraction, but this was not the case according to the report. I'll refer to incident narrative on page 2 of FSD's report. Mackenzie Shirilla, age 17, was extracted out of the driver's seat. When asked what her name was by PTL Galassi, she responded Mackenzie. She was loaded into a Berea FD ambulance, which transported her to the Life Flight helicopter that had landed in the parking lot of 20,338 Progress Drive. While en route, Captain Brett Stanislaw of the Berea Fire Department located a clear plastic bag containing suspected psilocybin or mushrooms, and a digital scale on her person. The items were handed to PTL Valco, number 7146, who was present inside the ambulance and captured the removal of the items on his body-worn camera. Shirilla was subsequently flown to Metro Health Medical Center in Cleveland for further treatment. The Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner, CCME, took custody. Sorry. Oh, the stupid thing always goes to the top. Okay. Just a second. I can't figure this out. Let me see if I can slow it down. Okay. The Cuyahoga County, that is so hard to say, Medical Examiner, the CCME, took custody of Flanagan and Russo's remains, and the vehicle was towed to Center Towing's lot. Okay, so this one, the investigation, August 1st, 2022, I was assigned the case. At 6:47, I emailed David Sims and Joe Thompson for the city's IT department requesting video footage tracking the vehicle. A printout of the email is enclosed in the case jacket and a PDF is stored digitally. 7:32, I emailed the Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's office requesting the autopsy reports for the victims, Dominic Russo and Davion Flanagan. A printout of the email is enclosed in the case jacket and a PDF is stored digitally. 8:39, Detective Glover, number 7180, and I dropped off the suspected psilocybin or mushrooms at the CCME's office. The evidence was received by Abigail Patterson in lab case number 22 or 2022-006794. 8:41, I received a voicemail from Chuck Dietrich, redacted. He works at Lincoln Moving and Storage, 20,036 Progress Drive. Dietrich told me security cameras captured a black Toyota traveling westbound on Progress Drive at a higher rate of speed than he normally sees. I requested a copy of the 8-second video. The video was subsequently obtained by Detective Bannock, number 7116, later that day. The undated and untimed video shows a vehicle traveling westbound at a high rate of speed. The surveillance camera is mounted on the southwest corner of the building and referred to the yellow star in the photo below. The video is slightly or digitally preserved. Okay. Yeah, the video is digitally preserved. I'm sorry. Lincoln Moving, which is also called Parma Moving, is located approximately 4 businesses east of the crash scene on the north side of the street. The distance from the camera location at 20,036 Progress to the crash site at 11,792 Alameda is approximately 0.3 miles according to Google Maps. So this is what they're talking about, this camera that was mounted here, and then this was the actual crash scene. So anyway, so 0905, so the very next morning, Mackenzie Hospital visit number 1. Detective Glover and I arrived at the intensive care unit at Metro Health Medical Center. The sole survivor who was operating the vehicle, Mackenzie Ford Shirilla, was in room 571. Upon our entry, Mackenzie was awake and alert. Her neck was in a brace, her right arm and both her legs were bandaged up. At her bedside was her mother, Natalie Shirilla, redacted. Both appeared tired and cried several times during our conversation. After introducing ourselves, I provided Natalie my business card with the report number. I explained to her that once Mackenzie is discharged from the ICU, I would be interested in interviewing her. Natalie mentioned that her husband told her not to say anything until they had legal representation. I encouraged her to pass my contact information along to her attorney. We agreed that I will call her next week to check on Mackenzie's status. Oh, come on. Sorry. I don't know why it does that. I don't like it. It's making me mad. We agreed that I will call her next week to check on Mackenzie's status, and Natalie expressed concern about the public's reaction on social media. Whoa, she's more worried about that. She also mentioned that she heard from Dominic Russo's family. She expressed sadness about the loss of Dominic and Davion. Mackenzie was barely able to speak. She asked to see photos of her vehicle. I told her once she's discharged, we can arrange for her to see them. She mentioned that she had left her friend Rosie's house prior to the crash. Before she could finish, Natalie interjected and entered the conversation. I did not audio or video record this meeting due to privacy concerns given the sensitive nature of the location. During the conversation, Natalie asked about Mackenzie's cell phone. I explained to her it was currently in evidence. Natalie wanted to know why I was holding on to her daughter's phone. I explained that I had reason to believe it contained digital evidence that could help me piece together the events leading up to the crash. I further made her aware that I would be seeking judicial approval to collect the necessary data. So this is scene photography. At my request, Detective Vanek, who is also an evidence technician, responded to Progress Drive and Alameda Drive to photograph the scene. One of the photos capturing the intersection showed the passenger side tire track directly oriented toward the Pleatco sign. So this right here, and the east or southeastern corner of the building to the east. All photos were uploaded to the network folder after Detective Vanek completed a supplemental report. Sorry, I'm having a hard time reading. So at 10:20, I received an email from IT technician Joe Thompson. He was able to find a video from a city camera mounted at the intersection of Pearl Road and Progress Drive. The video showed a dark colored sedan turning westbound on a Progress Drive from Pearl Road and southbound around 5:34 and 30 seconds a.m. on 7/31/2022. The vehicle slowed down, activated its passenger side, right side turn signal, and maintained its lane of travel as it entered the intersection and turned slowly and safely onto Progress Drive. A glow was visible through the driver's side window, presumably from a digital device. So here's my thought. I saw that too when I did the actual crash video, or beforehand when they were turning onto that road. And I was wondering if that's maybe where an argument could have started. Just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know. Maybe something she wasn't meant for Dom to see, but anyway, we'll see. I'm going to read this whole thing. It may take me a day or two, but I'll get it done. Okay, so 10:32, Detective Glover submitted preservation letters to Snapchat and Meta, the parent company of Instagram. Printouts of the submitted letters are enclosed in the case jacket. I don't know what this is. I guess it won't open. Oh, I don't want that. I don't know what that is. Hold on. Let me just move that. I have no idea what that was. Detective Lieutenant Jeff Mason, number 7122, this is 1051, emailed me about a phone call he placed to the Ohio State Highway Patrol, or the OSP, post number 18 redacted. He requested assistance from OSP in downloading contents of the event data recorder, commonly known as the black box from the Toyota, pending the approval of the search warrant application. Detective Lieutenant Mason will follow up on the matter upon hearing back from the head of the reconstruction team. A copy of the email is enclosed in the case jacket. 11:17, I called Cuyahoga County Assistant Prosecuting Attorney, or APA, John Costco. I guess that's how you say it, Costco redacted. He requested a copy of the initial report. After providing him my contact information, he said he will have another APA contact me to assist with search warrant preparation. 11:33, I emailed Costco a PDF copy of PTL Galassi's report and a PDF of the crash report, the OH1. Okay, so at 11:47, hold on. This thing always messes up. I don't like this type of reader. Okay, so at 11:47, I received a call from Cuyahoga County APA Sarah Hutnick. Utnik, redacted, APA Hutnick told me she was tasked with assisting me in preparing the search warrants. She emailed me the template used by the Cuyahoga County Court of Common Pleas, and then 1205 to 1447. I don't know what that means. I emailed Sarah the following search warrants to proofread and review: Metro Health Center, Mackenzie's medical records, Mackenzie's cell phone, Mackenzie's Instagram account, Mackenzie's Snapchat account, Toyota's event data recorder, commonly known as the black box, and then basically a 302-1502 statement by Kelly Vraha. Kelly Vraha, redacted, came to the police station accompanied by her mother, Diana Vraha, to provide information pertaining to the crash. I gave Kelly a blank statement form and asked her to fill it out. I told her I would call her later to schedule an interview. In her statement, Kelly, who resides at 3011 Russell Avenue in Parma, wrote that Mackenzie, Dominic, and Davian stopped by at her graduation party on July 30th, 2022, between basically 10 o'clock and 10:15. That's what that means. Hours, and remained for approximately 20 to 25 minutes. According to Kelly, Mackenzie asked her if she tripped, which Kelly believed meant to be, that right there, acid. Kelly said no. Shortly after, Kelly said she overheard Mackenzie ask Dominic if they would do as that night. Although Kelly said she did not hear Dominic's reply, she heard the three of them talk about going to some guy named Mark, whom she knew lived on Westwood Drive near the location of the crash. Kelly mentioned in her statement that as the three of them got up to leave, she asked Mackenzie who was driving. Mackenzie said she was. Kelly further added that three of them had a weed pen and a bottle of alcohol, but she was unsure who was in actual possession of the items. Kelly confirmed that none of them consumed any alcoholic beverages while at her party. Upon leaving her house, she described them as fine and no problem between the three of them at all, and Kelly's written statement is enclosed in the case jacket. So then at 15:37 or 3:37 p.m., Detective Glover sent a preservation letter to the application Life 360. And then let's see. So this is that picture from, top speed is 90 miles an hour. Wow, from Elizabeth Circle and then to Pearl Road. So then the top speed here, phone usage, high speed, and hard braking, and then rapid acceleration. I don't know what those actual mean, but high speed is about right here. So phone usage, 3. I don't know what that is, what those ratings mean or what these numbers mean, but it'll probably explain it. I'll shut the hell up and just get back to reading. Okay, and then Life 360 for Davian's account. Life 360 is a social media GPS application whereby the account holder can enable others to track their movement. Shortly after the crash, Deanna Fosnight, redacted, the mother of Mackenzie's ex-boyfriend, David Tyler Proctor, redacted, emailed PTO Galassi a screenshot from Davian's Life 360 application. The screenshot displayed Davian's drive details starting at 5:30 hours until 5:36 hours. The map shows the destination as the final rest location of the vehicle 11792 Alameda Drive. According to this photo, top speed was 90 miles per hour, one high speed indicator, and one hard braking indicator. A copy of the letter was enclosed in the case jacket, and a digital copy was preserved along with the screenshot. At 16:37 APA, so 4:37 APA, Sarah Hutnick and I agreed to meet in person on Thursday, August 4, 2022 at 8:30 hours in her office on the 8th floor of the Justice Center to present the search warrants to a Cuyahoga County judge. At 6:33, I spoke with APA Joanna Winery, I guess, redacted, the juvenile court charging prosecutor. I briefed her on the case and the information I had. And then 20:30, so that's 10:30, Sergeant Nip, number 7179, called me to let me know that Mackenzie's mother, Natalie Shirilla, called the station requesting access to her daughter's cell phone. She specifically wanted access to the social media application Snapchat to retrieve a passcode. I told Sergeant Nip that the phone was a material piece of evidence and that it will not be released until I apply for a search warrant, which at that time was with APA Hutnick, I guess, under review. So at 21:16, so this is actually, I said that wrong. So this is 9:16. I said it was 10 something earlier. It was actually 8 something. Sorry. I get these military times mixed up. So a statement from Tyler Croy, Sergeant Vlana, I guess, number 7172, called me to let me know about two people who came to the police station to provide information about the crash. Tyler Patrick Croy, redacted, is friends with Davian on the social media GPS platform Life 360. Tyler provided a written statement in which he detailed the whereabouts and movement of Davian starting at 23:30 hours on July 30th, 2022 until the time of the crash. The information was supposedly obtained from the application itself. Tyler began his statement by writing, all this information comes from the app Life 360 used to track the location of someone's phone. Screenshots provided by Croy are digitally attached. The following is an outline based on Tyler's written statement, which is enclosed, in the case jacket. 23:30, left the area of 2120 Lund Road in Strongsville. 23:35, Davian's phone is turned on. Speed recorded at 42 miles per hour. 23:39, arrived at 9392 Brushwood Lane. This address does not exist. It was later determined to be 9382 Brushwood Lane. Oh, it's all messed up. Where Paul Burlinghouse resides. 0530, left 9392 Brushwood Lane after spending approximately 6 hours there. 5:30 to 5:36, traveled normally from Whitney Road to Pearl Road when they turned on a Progress Road. 5:35, Life 360 indicated Davian used his phone while the vehicle was still in progress drive in front of PPG Industries, a 19699 Progress Drive. And then at 5:35, Life 360 recorded the vehicle experiencing hard braking well after it was off the road and after it passed the sign at the end of the street, only a few feet after the app indicated a high speed of 90 miles per hour. The application indicated movement. Sorry. I don't like it when it does that. Okay. The application indicated movement toward the Strongsville police station. And then at 9:45, the application indicated the phone had arrived at the SPD. Okay. So that's after they found his phone, I guess. And then a statement from Husni Ahmad. Husni Ahmad, redacted. The statement contains speculation and opinion. He mentioned a party on Whitey Road where Mackenzie, Dominic, and Davian were took place at the house of Paul Burlinghouse. Husni indicated that Dominic and Mackenzie were dating and fought all the time. Husni speculated that Dominic and Mackenzie were fighting before the crash. And then Husni further added that he believed Davian was a victim and that rumors that Mackenzie and Dominic were on drugs. His statement was enclosed in the case jacket. August 3rd, 2022, Natalie Shirilla, 8:20. So Natalie Shirilla left me a voicemail requesting a callback. She stated she needed to access one of her daughter's social media accounts to obtain a passcode. And then Natalie had made multiple calls to the police department, including a call to Detective Sergeant Cravatas, number 7142, who explained to her the phone was logged as evidence. And then 11:24, APA Sarah Hutnick emailed me back the medical records search warrant. I called Natalie and left her a voicemail requesting a callback. And then 2020, so 8:20, Sergeant Vlana, I don't know how you say that, emailed me multiple screenshots that Tyler Croy had emailed him. The screenshot supported the written statement Croy provided the previous day. All photos were preserved in the witness folder under Tyler Croy's name. August 4th, 2022, 8:27, Natalie Shirilla left me another voicemail about the phone. At 8:30, I met APA Sarah Hutnick in her office at the Justice Center. And then at 0900, Judge John J. Russo of the Cuyahoga County Court of Common Pleas signed the following search warrants: Mackenzie's cell phone, Mackenzie's medical records from Metro Health, and the Toyota's EDR. And then Mackenzie's cell phone passcode. At 10:10, once back at my desk, I called Natalie Shirilla. Excuse me. It was apparent that she was at the hospital with Mackenzie. I could hear Mackenzie in the background. Hold on. Ugh. I hate this thing. Natalie inquired about Mackenzie's cell phone, explained to her that a county judge had signed a search warrant for Mackenzie's cell phone, which allowed me to gain access to it. Natalie wanted to know how soon she could get the phone back. I told Natalie that if Mackenzie were to voluntarily provide me with her cell's phone passcode, I could access it, download the data pursuant to the search warrant, and return the phone to her the same day. I further added that my other option would be to turn the phone over to an IT professional to bypass password, and that I would not be able to provide her with a timeline to return the phone. Natalie placed me on hold while she consulted with Mackenzie. Moments later, Natalie returned, and I heard Mackenzie in the background dictating her mother the passcode. Natalie then told me that Mackenzie's cell phone passcode was right there, but I know already probably going to get dinged for this. Prior to hanging up, I told Natalie that we'll hand deliver the cell phone with the passcode to our IT technician and call her at a later time that day to arrange for returning the phone. So at 11:30, I turned the phone with the passcode over to David Sims, the IT director for the city of Strongsville. I also presented him with the search warrant. Sims reviewed the search warrant and took custody of the phone. So then at 12:05, Christine Russo, Dominic's mother, called me. She wanted to know if we had custody of her son's car key, which is a Cadillac, and his necklace. At 12:55, I called Christine back and told her that we did in fact have a key fob for the Cadillac. The key fob was recovered at the crash scene. I checked the Cadillac key fob out of property, and shortly thereafter, I returned the key fob to Christine. She signed a property release for which I enclosed in the case jacket. The Cadillac was not involved in this investigation. At 13:17, I called Tyler Croy to schedule an interview. He agreed to come to SPD on Thursday, August 11th, 2022 at basically 2:30 hours. And then 13:25, the 125, David Sims returned Mackenzie's iPhone after extracting the data. And then a search warrant service, Metro Health, medical records number 1 at basically 2:42. I arrived at the medical records department at Metro Health Medical Center and served a copy of the search warrant to the on-duty receptionist, Debbie Sharok. I guess they're putting phone numbers here, which is cool. Redacted. I also showed her the original warrant. Debbie asked that I fill out the medical release form with the necessary delivery information. Photos of the form have been digitally added to the network folder. Mackenzie Hospital visit number 2 at 3:10. I arrived at section 7A, room 715 at Metro Health, where Mackenzie was receiving treatment. Upon knocking at the door, I was invited in by her mother, Natalie. Inside the room were 2 unidentified female friends of Mackenzie and her father, Steve. As the 2 guests left the room, a doctor came in to check on Mackenzie. While I filled out the property release form, I overheard an exchange between Mackenzie and the physician, whereby Mackenzie refused to take a shot that would have helped her with pain. At that time, she and her father got into an argument. She kicked him out of the room after directing expletives at him. I left the room to wait for the physician to leave. Oh my goodness. While outside, I motioned for Natalie and Steve to follow me. Once in the hallway, I explained to them that I was about to return Natalie's cell phone, an orange Michael Kors backpack, $165 in cash, and clothes that were recovered from the crash scene. It is worthy to note that immediately after the crash, SPD officers located a clear plastic bag containing a green leafy substance that resembled and smelled like raw marijuana, along with drug paraphernalia inside the orange bag. While talking to the parents, Mackenzie started yelling, "Tell us not to talk," hold on, without her being present. Prior to returning to the room, Steve informed me that on the advice of his attorney, he was going to audio record my conversation with his daughter. I told them that I was going to record audio only using my department issue body camera. The three of us returned to the room. He was conscious and alert. She asked that I place the money in her bag, referring to the orange backpack I brought with me. I counted the money, $165, in front of her parents. Mackenzie told her parents to put the money in my bag. Natalie signed the property release form. Afterward, I handed Mackenzie's parents a copy of the search warrant and the inventory receipt. I explained that all three, the details of the search warrant and the basic nature of the investigation. Steve asked about video surveillance from the crash itself. I also informed them that SPD will be downloading the data from the Toyota's EDR pursuant to another search warrant. And then Natalie then inquired about the location of the Toyota. At some point, Mackenzie interrupted and addressed her mom in a language that I did not understand. Her mother replied, "You can," indicating that she understood what Mackenzie had said. Mackenzie then turned to me and stated, "Take my whole license away for like 10 years or something like that." Steve then abruptly said, "My daughter was living with Dom at his house. He wanted her property retrieved from the Russo residence." I explained to them that upon her discharge, we can arrange for an escort with help from a uniformed officer and in coordination with Christine Russo. Before I left, I asked if they had any other questions. Natalie wanted to know why the county would be involved if the families of the deceased did not want to pursue charges. I gave Steve another one of my cards with the report number and asked him to pass it along to his attorney. I left the room at 15:27. The audio recording from my conversation was captured by my body cam. At 16:40, Tyler Croy emailed me back. He said the party Mackenzie, Dominic, and Davion were at prior to the crash took place at Paul Burlinghouse's residence in Strongsville, August 5th, 2022. Search warrant service, the EDR, and this is at 9 o'clock. So Lieutenant Mason, Detective Vanek, firefighters from Strongsville Fire Engine number 3, and Sergeant Ryan Fox of the Ohio State Highway Patrol Crash Reconstruction Team executed the search warrant for the Toyota's EDR. Detective Vanek drew my attention to the fact that a white Prada flip-flop that belongs on a right foot was found stuck on the gas pedal. The left flip-flop was found in the trunk and covered with dirt. It was likely placed in there by the fire medics or the tow driver who placed the debris from the crash scene in the trunk. Refer to Detective Vanek's supplement and photos. So there's the shoe. Doesn't mean anything, but it could be just it got stuck because of how they hit that damn wall. Oh my gosh. So video of the crash, 10 o'clock. Marty Masudi, redacted, the president of Eurofins Oil, 20,338 Progress Drive, provided us a thumb drive that contained video surveillance of the crash from different viewpoints. The videos were added to the surveillance tab under Test Oil. Mary's business. Did I say Mary? I think I said Marty. I'm sorry. And Mary's business card was stapled to the witness folder in the case jacket, and the thumb drive was entered into property by Detective Vanek. Mayor provided 10 total video clips varying in duration. Footage from the south side of the building and the west side captured the Toyota's approach and the impact with the building. The west side camera did not record or did not audio record. The south side camera recorded both audio and video. The following is a breakdown of the south side video. Okay, so at 5:39:38, the vehicle can be heard approaching at a high rate of speed. 5:39:41, the vehicle appears on the screen and can be seen with I don't know what that is, at a high rate of speed. And then 5:39:42, the rear brake lights are illuminated as the vehicle crashes into the Plidco sign on the property of 11792 Alameda before veering slight right or north where it impacted the building. So no braking and braking. But you know, a lot of these newer cars do have that thing where it will stop you or kind of try to stop you. But if you have your foot lodged on the dang pedal, I mean, there's not, there's not much the car can do. It would be fighting against itself, I guess. Anyway, I don't know. So 1024 received a call from Cuyahoga County APA Tim Troop, redacted. After introducing himself, he explained he was assigned the case. At 12:10, I called Christine Russo to let her know that during the execution of the search warrant on the Toyota, SPD detectives located a gold chain and no pendant and a damaged iPhone. Okay. Let's see. Russo arrived at the station shortly thereafter and collected the chain. I had her sign a property release tag, which I enclosed in the case jacket, and the phone was entered into property. Russo had requested the chain because she wanted it around her son's neck prior to his burial. Ugh, that's awful. 12:43, I called Deanna Fosnight to follow up with her since she had been contacting PTL Galassi. She identified her son, David Tyler Proctor, redacted, as Mackenzie's ex-boyfriend. Deanna was concerned because she believed Mackenzie had threatened to kill herself and Dominic in the past. Oh my goodness. Deanna's statements at the time of the call could not be substantiated, is what he's trying to say. She encouraged me to contact her son as he might have more information. Furthermore, Deanna emailed me and PTL Galassi screenshots from the various social media accounts belonging to Mackenzie. 13:30, I called David Tyler Proctor, who goes by his middle name Tyler. He did not answer, and I was unable to leave him a voicemail because his mailbox was full. I called Davian's father, Scott Flanagan, redacted, but he did not answer. I tried his wife's number, Jamie Flanagan, redacted, and Scott answered. I introduced myself and provided him my contact information and requested that he contact me at his convenience upon their return to Ohio. 14:15, so 2:15. I emailed Olivera Simic, the SWED supervisor, requesting the 911 audio recording from the crash. Okay, 16:08, I called Tyler Proctor again. He answered, and we agreed that I will call him back on Monday, August 8th, 2022 to schedule an interview. 16:50 up 5, I called the Berea Fire Department and spoke with an unidentified lieutenant. I inquired about obtaining the report from their squad that responded to the crash, and I was directed to their chief on Monday. 17:12, I called Rosie Graham, or Rose Graham, redacted, who goes by Rosie. She did not answer. I left a voicemail requesting a call back. I obtained her name and number from Mackenzie's cell phone pursuant to the search warrant, and David Sims had pointed out a text message exchange between Rosie and Mackenzie on the night of July 30th, 2022, prior to Mackenzie's arrival at Paul Burlinghouse's party. In the text exchange, Rosie had listed the name of people who were interested in purchasing controlled substances from Mackenzie. And then 17:15, so 5:15, Tim Troop arrived at SPD where Detective Sergeant Cravadas, I don't know, and I met a brief troop on the progress of the investigation and provided him digital copies of the report, surveillance videos, and photos. 1718, Aaron I or Rio, I don't know, another SWED DC supervisor emailed me the 911 audio recording. I added it to the digital file. And 1725, I received a call from Roseanne Coyne, redacted. She identified herself as Rosie's mother. I explained to her the case I was investigating and asked to interview Rosie. Roseanne agreed to bring Rosie to SPD on Thursday, August 11th, 2022 at noon. On Wednesday, August 10th, 2022, she left me a voicemail asking to reschedule. At 6:29, I emailed APA Tim Troop the 911 audio and shared with him the body cam footage from all officers involved with the crash, as well as my audio recording from the day before when I returned Mackenzie's cell phone. 1836 and 1929, I called Carolyn Burlinghouse, redacted, to schedule an interview with her son Paul, who hosted the party that Mackenzie, Dominic, and Davian attended before the crash. She did not answer, and I was unable to leave her a voicemail because it was full. And then 2022 or 1022, Carolyn left me a voicemail requesting I call her back. And then 2138, so this is 822. I keep getting this mixed up. And this is 938. PTO Galassi forwarded me 3 more emails from Deanna Fosnight. The emails included photo and video attachments from Mackenzie's social media accounts. The attachments were digitally added or attached to the report. Okay, so we'll probably do this and then finish up. So August 6, 2022, 9:50, I called Carolyn back. She answered and stated her son, Paul Burlinghouse, was 18 years of age. She further stated that on the night of the party, she and her husband were in New York. After explaining to her that Mackenzie, Dominic, and Davian were at her house for approximately 6 hours prior to the crash, I informed her that I needed to interview her son. At 10:08, Natalie Shirilla reports mean people. I received a call from Natalie Shirilla. She wanted to report a couple of girls saying mean things to her daughter on social media. Natalie identified Morgan Verbicki as one of the girls. She allegedly sent Mackenzie message pertaining to the crash. Although Natalie said her daughter was no longer on social media, she was unable to provide a phone number for Morgan. Hold on. The second girl, whom she only identified as Jenna, reportedly blamed Mackenzie for killing Dominic on purpose. Natalie said Mackenzie had screenshots of the messages. I asked her to email them to me and I would look into it. I further explained to Natalie that unless the speech was threatening in nature, I would not be able to control what people say about the events. And Natalie never emailed me the screenshots. At 10:36, I think it was a lie. I called Deanna Vraha, I guess that's how you say it, and scheduled an interview with her daughter Kelly for Tuesday, August 9th, 2022 at noon. 13:32, so 1:32 in the afternoon, Carolyn Burlinghouse called me back and said she, her husband, and her son Paul will be available to come to SPD for an interview on Thursday, August 11th, 2022 at 10:00 hours. August 7th, 2022, 6:17, I received an email from PTL Galassi letting me know that Mackenzie attempted to leave the hospital. Metro Health Police were called to assist the medical staff. He further stated that MHPD Sergeant Doyle had called SWED DC to inquire whether he had a warrant for her arrest. I called PTO Galassi and informed him that the case was not ready for charges. I sent a text message. So 8:54, I sent a text message to Detective Lieutenant Mason and Detective Sergeant Cravadas, making them aware of PTO Galassi's text. 9:05, I called Metro Health PD to speak with the OIC and then PTO Bates. I requested their police report and body cam footage. Bates told me MHPD officers were not equipped with body cameras, but he will help me get a copy of the report. And then 9:33, PTO Bates emailed me to let me know that he spoke with MHPD Lieutenant Delmar Henderson about the report. Henderson told him that I would need to submit a records request, and then later, PTO Bates called me and relayed the same information. Um, at 9:52, I emailed Metro Health Records employee Kelly Lentz and Lieutenant Henderson inquiring about the record or required paperwork to obtain the police report. I also let them know that on Thursday, August 4th, 2022, I served Metro Health with a search warrant for any and all records and reports pertaining to the treatment of Mackenzie. All right. Well, we're going to stop it here. That's 15 pages in. We'll just continue reading this stuff. It's just kind of weird reading the whole report. But I will talk to y'all later. Have a good one. Bye.